What's up, family? In today's video, we'll be looking at more creepy and strange TikToks. You hear that?
So it was actually aired on the news that people are hearing voices in their head, and even more so, these people think that for some reason they're targeted. We'll get to something completely unrelated in 1 second.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. Those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment. KMIR6's Angela Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered. Angela.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
How much more can you invade me than to go into my brain? It sounds like somebody else is reading the book, only its thoughts.
And of course, right now of all times, we have Luna and the Congress bringing forth legislation or a hearing on MK Ultra. Which, by the way, I saw a video claiming that Voice to Skull was the future version of MK, and that's not true. I'll break it down in 1 second, but of course, we have this patent which literally combats the Voice to Skull patent. So obviously, it's true, otherwise there wouldn't be a patent, right? I wonder who would be beaming voices into these people's skull, right? Alright, so there's one main video, and it's the reason a lot of people are making videos saying that Voice to Skull is the future mode of MK. But that's not true at all. They're two completely different things. Because MK is a way that they induce trauma. They can use a TV screen or real life events and induce trauma to a person to then control the outcome of that person when they're in a certain mind state. Of course, they're not using the news and the TV in your living room to create these trauma-based mindsets. No way. So MK is trauma-induced actions. Voice to Skull is basically hypnosis on independent particular people, whichever one, whoever is doing this chooses. Because they'll hear these words in their head so many times to the point where they think it's them and they think it's real, and then they will act on this. It's very similar, but it's totally not the same thing. Because what if I told you these both were going to be used in conjunction for this great massive deception? Fiction story here, of course, trauma will be induced from the news and from the TV screens, make people act off emotions. And then when they see something in the sky, they'll have Voice to Skull and they'll believe that it's something very serious to them. But know this, if they are doing a hearing for something, that's because they actually want you to know it. Ask yourself, why?
Why? Y'all believe in voice to skull technology? I think they have it in light bulbs. I'm just being honest, like smart bulbs. They probably have it in like LED lights in your room. You know, your kids probably are hearing certain things because of certain electronics that are in their room that they probably bought from like Amazon or Temu. You know what I'm saying? I got some free money on Temu, Dad. And now they got voice to skull technology in there. Now they got thoughts in their mind that weren't there before. Got to be careful out here.
But I learned later that this is probably because they're involved in a cover-up, and that the chances of Apophis striking the Earth in 2029 is far greater than what they are admitting at this point. And by the way, in the book, I go into that. It's more than a conspiracy theory. I've interviewed and talked with astronomers, members of NASA, people with above top secret security clearance. Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis from the Pentagon, who was a senior analyst there, put me in contact with impact specialists. People like Nathan Myhrvold, who is constantly listed in the top 100 critical thinkers, scientific thinkers in the world, a true polymath with over 800 patents to his name. He once ran the science department at Microsoft. One of the most brilliant men on earth, has recently published a peer-reviewed paper in an astronomy magazine in which he accuses NASA of an absolute cover-up of the threat that is posed by both Apophis and some other asteroids. So I did all of this research and came to believe that, in fact, of all dates, Friday the 13th, April 2029, Apophis is going to strike the Earth.
Whoa, put that date in your calendars. Friday the 13th, 29. Hopefully not. I really hope not. If it does strike the Earth, like, be somewhere that don't affect us. Like maybe like a little asteroid like this. Pew! That's all I need hitting the Earth.
Listen, Sam. Another. Right overhead. Wow, all within 3 minutes. That's amazing. Well, how you see flight tracking? Look how it's moving.
Holographic projection.
You can do anything weird?
I mean, it could be.
No?
That's crazy.
Beautiful.
I think they have
Sam, can you get flight tracking for this UFO?
Petrified toes.
That definitely looks like my toes. All crusty and everything. Nah, for you can't say that's not.
You know how we do it. We had to come check this one out for ourselves. We made a special trip up here just to check this out for y'all today, and it did disappoint. As y'all see, looks like toes. And I'm talking, it looks like real toes. The thing about it is when we find a lot of this stuff, it's all granularly and it kind of falls apart. This has been coated with something. You can see where they've gone around and painted it and put some kind of coating on it. So I think this is a petrified giant. And if you look over here behind me on this side, there's a mound right where the other foot would be. And you know they're not going to put both feet out because people would start being a little more suspicious about the situation. So they covered it up as usual. We're Yahweh's Petrified Giants Touring Company. Come out to Colorado. We're licensed and insured, veteran owned and operated. Like, share, follow, repost, check out all my other videos. And just want to say I appreciate all y'all's support. Till next time.
Yo, that's just like a toenail. Like, how is that not a set of toes? I would hate to get petrified. That's just scary. Like, if we go out to Colorado and go to his company, like, will he take us on a tour or something? Like, do they have a lot of petrified giants out there in Colorado? Interesting. Helicopter sprays and
That's
stuff
a nice
out there,
one.
huh?
Going back. It actually spit up a crayfish while it was eating it.
No, get that on video. It's gonna spray. Look at that. Spraying.
No way.
Why?
That's ridiculous.
I'm sure that's great for the fish and for everybody. Wow.
That's crazy. And what you have to realize is that there is nothing that they could possibly be spraying into the water that nature wouldn't take care of herself. There is a chemical and psychological warfare game that is being played on the common people, on the American people, and it has to come to an end. This right here is pure evil, and we wonder why America is one of the sickest countries.
What's up with his hand symbols down there, man? When people start doing all of this, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, I don't know if I can trust you right now.
It's stuff like this. Let's leave nature alone. Let's stop poisoning ourselves. Is it really that crazy? If you think this is a very appropriate approach, I encourage you to go to writeinqterry.com to see more of my platform.
Yeah, man, I don't know what to say.
Isn't it crazy to think about the extremely significant places from history that were just covered up by dirt, and they just decided, no, it's not really worth keeping up with. The Roman Forum, the capital of Rome, what people would argue is the capital of the world, not worth keeping up with. We'll just let it get buried by time and dirt. This area was so buried by dirt that later on they built Christian churches there that were floating off the ground. The doors were floating off the ground, and since they have excavated it, there's now doors floating like 15 feet off the ground because there was that much dirt covering these structures from then. Or like the Sphinx. No, the Sphinx is lame. What is it? One of the oldest things maybe ever? No, we just let that get covered up by dirt. We don't even really know. We don't know what's underneath it. We don't know what the feet look like, and they had to re-excavate it again in. And then things like Chichen Itza, it was like the largest Mayan city of all time, maybe one of the largest cities in the Western Hemisphere that we know of. I mean, we're talking like 35 to 50,000 people were in this city. They just let that get covered up by the jungle and taken over, and no, it wasn't really worth keeping up with. It was just, you know, one of the largest pyramids in the entire world. How did this happen? How did people go from having the most significant places in the world to them just being covered up and forgotten about? It's so crazy to think about this. Do you guys realize that we didn't like rediscover Pompeii until extremely recently? I think it was like sometime in the 90s they figured out that Pompeii was beneath the ground. They're thinking that they barely even scratched the surface of what they are excavating from this town. They're thinking that less than half has been discovered of Pompeii. So all these places are so crazy. Why is the Sphinx so old? We really don't know. I'm starting to think that like there are parts of history that were really not being fully taught for some reason. And you know what? In a society that now today is outsourcing our main competitive advantage, which is critical thinking, to machines, it kind of makes sense that, you know, humanity would repeat this. And that's not what I mean. I don't mean repeat this as in like there was some sort of advanced thing that took over before, but I'm just saying that like we are doing that. Like humanity's competitive advantage is thinking. We are replacing ourselves with machines. We're not thinking anymore. What are we doing? It's just strange to me. But what do you guys think? Maybe I'm overthinking.
I don't know if he's overthinking. Why do you think we haven't been taught these certain events or things in history? You know, part of me wants to say it's because like they can't teach us it because they themselves don't even know. And we're in a time where like everyone's fighting for power. Like something clearly happened and there was a long period of time where things were just dormant. You know, how do things just get buried like that or melted or whatever? There was a long period of time. And then eventually these things get found or founded, right? But in the period of time when they're getting founded, we're in a whole new world, you know? Things are different. And now people, like I said, are fighting for positions of power. No one's trying to rediscover what the past was so that they can give up their power. They're trying to hold on to it.
There's an unprecedented threat that we just found by accident. They were repairing a dam at Big Creek Lake. That is a 3,600 acre lake, a reservoir that holds about 17 billion gallons of drinking water. It is the main source of drinking water for Mobile, Alabama. And they found an explosive device just under the water line, accidentally. We don't have much more information than that, other than things are looking like they might get really serious.
Okay, you're telling me that ain't making all these fucking clouds? You tell me that right there. That's not making all these clouds that I'm seeing right
I mean, I'm pretty sure it is.
But you can only get out of the fast what you put in it. It's important that you go on the fast correctly, and it's important that you maintain the fast correctly, and it's important that you come off the fast correctly. If you come off the fast with a whole lot of combinations of food, heavy starches, you have just ruined everything that you've done. You want to come off of it gradually, go into it gradually, just as nature introduces you to food gradually. So we, for instance, the first day of getting into the fast, we'll just use 3 days. So the first day before, on this 3-day period before we go into the fast, we're eating apples, oranges, bananas, papayas, mangoes, and we're eating quite a variety of fruits. Because fruits cleanse the body, whereas vegetables tend to stabilize the body. So we want to cleanse the body. And so we're eating those combinations of fruits. And then we reduce it down to, say, 2 or 3 pears and apples and oranges. And then on the 3rd day, that's the day before the fast, we eat only one type of fruit, the fruit of our choice, whatever fruit you choose. And then we go into the fast, which can be a liquid juice fast, as I mentioned before, or a water fast. Now, we don't want to go into a week or 2-week or a month fast. We're not trying to do anything heroic here. We'll probably go into a 1-day fast to start off and then gradually work our way to 2 days or 3 days or a week of just fasting on liquids. Knowing that we have to dilute these juices because they're too concentrated. So when you're making raw orange juice, you want to drink 1/2 raw orange juice and 1/2 water. Mix them together. And then you want to drink 1/3 orange juice and 2/3 water. Mix them together until the 3rd day of the fast you're drinking just water. And then you go out of that fast the same way you came in. 1/3 juice, 2/3 water. 1/2 juice, 1/2 water. And then you're drinking just the plain juice by itself without the water. And then you're going back into eating one type of fruit, then two types, then the combination, and then you're out of the fast again. So you can approach the water fast that way and the juice fast that way, knowing that there are certain healing elements involved in all the fruits and vegetables. They are usually based on the color breakdown of the melanin. The pineal gland makes the melanin, and it has a color breakdown, which we call indigo, violet, blue, and orange, and red, and green. These are the colors made from melanin. And we want to concentrate into our fruits the same way. We want to use a variety of colors, which gives a variety of nutrients, which stimulates the hormones in the fruits. Because fruits possess hormones, and these same hormones go into your body and stimulate the hormones in your body. Hormones drive the energy, give it a direction, tell it which way to go. So we're driving the pineal gland, which stimulates the pituitary, which makes a melanocyte kind of stimulating hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormones, which stimulates the melanin in the pineal gland. So we're getting into the whole triangle of the glandular system. We're stimulating each gland by the various colors. Usually, when you're dealing with the colors, the higher colors, such as the sun, which is yellow and orange and red, and you're coming down to the darker colors, you're coming closer to the earth. You're coming closer to the original source of the color, which is the pineal gland. So we want to use a variety of colors. We want to use purple fruit, such as grapes, and we want to use orange fruits, and we use green fruits, such as oranges, which are dyed orange by the Europeans. They're not really orange. So we want to use a variety of fruits, and the fruits that have a variety of colors, because usually they have at least 1 to 2 colors to the skin. They possess 1 or 2 or more colorings that stimulate the body. Because the body is a rainbow-producing instrument. The more of the rainbow you put in the body, the more of the rainbow you get out of the body. That's why it's important while you're on the fast to stimulate your pineal gland by blinking at the sun before noon and afternoon to help stimulate that pineal gland. That should be done every day, as well as taking a bath every day, because the toxins are being released through your skin and you want to get them out. So you take a bath to help flush those toxins out and get them off your skin. And the waste is accumulating because, as I mentioned before, you have this ship that's sinking. So the body's throwing away all the excess baggage. And so all this excess waste is accumulating in the colon, small intestines, large intestines. So enema would be necessary. Enema can consist of catnip herb tea, which relaxes. And you can use a stimulant kind of tea also in that, a little bit of lobelia. Or you may want to add 1 or 2 leaves of senna, which is a laxative, to help get the waste out of the system.
Y'all heard the man. You know, if you want to fast, you got to do it correctly. You got to come into the fast the right way. You got to fast the right way. You got to come out the fast the right way. And then you got to cleanse the system. That's crazy. I did not know.
When you're enjoying your day at Disney World, but then the lamp starts to look a little weird.
Why? Where was the mannequin at? Why are the shoes dirty? It is probably ancient rubble, you know, like something that just got destroyed, and then they use that for things here and there.
Okay, I got another Mandela effect here, but first I want to tell you something. So apparently there is a theory beyond the parallel universe that we've been talking about on the channel here, is that the Mandela effect is a big experiment by the government to see how easy it is to erase history. Just like the COVID was a test to see how easily we were to be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much, I mean, we're a slave to the system now. We are so far deep into the matrix, we're messed up. But anyways, here's the Mandela effect, and this one is going to trip you out. So you remember Morpheus here, right? Now, there is a famous line in the movie The Matrix. When Neo is sitting down with Morpheus, they're in those 2 leather chairs, and Morpheus says, "What if I told you that everything you know is a lie?" I mean, It's very easy to remember that line. And now, if you watch that movie, it never existed in that line. If you go try to find the script online, it doesn't exist in there. And it's not in that movie anymore. It's completely removed. And we're talking, you know, people that have seen that movie like literally over 100 times, people that are obsessed with the movie The Matrix, know it to be true, that everything you know is true, is a lie. Anyways, this guy used AI to put it back in to show you what it would have sounded like. But this is not in the movie anymore. This is strictly AI. Check it out.
What if I told you that everything you know is a lie? That your entire life has been a mere illusion, carefully constructed to deceive you? What if I told you that there is a world beyond this one? A world where humanity fights for its survival against machines? Would you believe me?
Yo! They took that out the movie because that was in the movie. That was... It's in my mind. That's all I'm going to say.
So that's all AI. So apparently those lines never happened.
None of them?
And hardcore Matrix fans who can recite the movie from start to finish know that that existed at one time. And now it's just gone. So explain that. What the heck is going on?
I think AI is in control of editing things out now. Probably all over the internet. It's like, hold on. They tried to show what our plan was real quick. We got to cut this out. So now you don't hear that part, you know. But man, does anyone have like the old DVD or something? You know how when you get the movie, it says this film has been edited from its original version. We need the one that hasn't been edited.
They are convinced that a human being is not just free on his own, but has to go out and earn money so that he can buy freedom. And now they have their purpose in life. Look at them. They're happy, you see? They want to work and to earn, but most importantly, to spend
Yeah, that's what it
on
is.
all their sin. It gives them a high, realizing how they can go out and buy justification for any kind of shit. And we have a price for any kind of filth.
Yeah, that's the world.
What is this? Why have they tried to remove it from this photograph? This is the Wayne County building in Detroit, Michigan.
I'm telling you, all these old photographs have been photoshopped. Man, they have to have been. Because don't nobody be in the photos. Except for like two guys in top hats.
They forgot to remove the reflection in the water. They have clearly removed whatever is in the sky also, as you can see in these next photos. Does that say Secret Service?
Wow.
The more that I study this one photograph, the more questions it brings. If you look at the reflections in the windows, they add more to the mystery of what could be in the sky that they removed. What do you think that these are a reflection of?
Right.
Is this the hidden technology that could explain how they built these buildings so fast? Why would they try to cover it up? Let me know what you think it is. Isn't it odd that they were throwing these stone buildings up so fast all over the United States at the same time and then stopped?
I've been asking that forever, but if there is some secret technology that just built it, that's crazy, because that's what I've been saying this whole time. Like, I don't think people built these things. Like, something or something else built by people built these things. I don't know. I could be wrong.
We're living in a parallel universe. I'm going to tell you why. But first, please like and share and follow if you like the content. It encourages me to make more. Okay? So let's get to it. So before we get to the parallel universe part, let's talk about the Mandela effect and why this proves we are in a parallel universe. The Mandela effect in a nutshell is you remembering something completely different to what they say it is now. There's many different examples of it, all the way from your favorite movies and TV shows and songs and maps of the world and all sorts of interesting things. I've got tons of video on this on my channel. Check it out. The first occurrence of the Mandela effect was documented in 2009. And the reason for that significance is CERN, the Large Hadron Collider in Europe, which circles protons around this 27 kilometer track at the speed of light, did its first soft test in 2008. Not even a soft test, actually. It circled a proton around it, and that was a big, and that was a huge milestone. 2009 is when they actually collided two protons together, or whatever the heck it's called. That's way over my pay grade. You can Google it, though. At 99.9% the speed of light. And now many different people, from like child prodigies to super smart scientists and whatnot, say that when they did that, when they smashed those protons together at almost the speed of light, it actually pushed Earth into a parallel universe. Check out this quick vid.
Destroyed our universe. I mean, even when we thought about starting it, we thought our universe would implode, and then it didn't, and we're like, oh, it's okay. Well, maybe it did implode.
Right.
We just instantly got shifted to another universe.
And that's why if you were born before 2008, 2009, and old enough to remember things like television programs from the 2000s or the early 90s, clothing, all sorts of different businesses, maps, they're different to what they say they are now, because in that parallel universe, it's the same but not the same. There's subtle differences, as you can see here from ChatGPT. So, parallel universe, I fully believe that happened. I mean, there is so much evidence of it now, and for someone to say, there's lots of people that argue with it, but they're not born before 2008. They're born in like 2010 or 2009, whatever, So their universe is going to be the one that we're in now, not the one that we got pushed over from. Do you understand? So check out my other videos about the Mandela effect, and you'll see all of the craziness. And especially like if you were in your teens in the 90s, things are way different now than you remember them being back then. Hey, don't forget to like and follow if you did like.
I'm sorry.
He might be on to something, man. Like 2008, 2009. Like for some reason, my mind always takes me back to that time period. The music, everything. And then something switched. And it hasn't been the same since. Honestly, the people haven't been the same either. I mean, some of them have. Maybe they were on the same timeline as me in the past, but a lot of people have switched. So I don't know what happened in 2008, 2009.
Prince, but what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean? Because on Earth Prime, we were not able to put any kind of metal into the microwave. No aluminum foil. If you had those camping cups that were lined with tin, you weren't allowed to put those in the microwave because they would have a reaction and they would fucking explode or light on fire.
Facts.
You would just hear... Remember? Remember that? I remember that. You're saying that they can do this shit here? On this new timeline, you're saying that they can do that shit here? Send me to me. Send me to me, Rachel. I need to see that shit. I need to see that shit now. If this is true, which I don't know it is yet, don't take this until I can prove it, okay? If this is true, this is what I've been saying about the timelines, the laws of physics, the laws of gravity, the science, everything being different. Just like the same way I was talking about the money being different. This is... Send me to me, Rachel.
Yeah. What timeline are y'all on? Because I know that you cannot put metal things in a microwave. So I don't do it now. But now they've got me wanting to put a fork in the microwave and see what happens.
That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
Because, man, you could not do that back when we were kids. You know what I'm saying? I just know, don't put nothing metal in the microwave. I don't know what's going on with the timelines, and I don't know what's going on with this world. I don't know if the world imploded back in 2008. I don't know where we're at. I don't know what timeline this is. Maybe they know what happened, and maybe they try to show us in like these movies, like these multiverse movies. You do realize that a lot of these multiverse movies and things have been coming out in the recent years. So maybe they're trying to show us something. Like, hey, you guys are in the multiverse. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. These are some of the most creepy and strange TikToks that are out there. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bells on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.